Today I'm going to give you my thoughts and opinions on what occurred during Royal Rumble weekend, NXT Takeover Philadelphia on Saturday night, the Royal Rumble on Sunday night, and then Monday Night Raw on Monday night, obviously, and then SmackDown Live last night on Tuesday. 205 Live, the Mixed Match Challenge, were also last night after SmackDown Live went off the air. He had Braun Strowman team up with Alexa Bliss against Sami Zayn and Becky Lynch in the Mixed Match Challenge. And then 205 Live was about 10:30, started about 10:30 on the WWE Network. I tuned in real quick just to see who was going to be named the first ever general manager of 205 Live. Drake Maverick, formerly known as Rockstar Spud in TNA Impact Wrestling, is the new and the first ever general manager in 205 Live's history. It should be a fun, exciting time for the cruiserweights as Maverick announced a 16-man single elimination tournament that will conclude at WrestleMania 34 in New Orleans on April 8th to determine the new cruiserweight champion. A lot of people know by now Enzo Amore was released last week by the WWE after rape allegations surfaced, and was released, stripped of his title, obviously. And now they bring in Rockstar Spud, Drake Maverick as they're calling him, to be the first ever general manager for 205 Live. But when it all, when it comes down at the end, when everything, when the dust is settled, this match will more than likely be on the pre-show, kickoff show, whatever the hell they're calling it nowadays, because unless they put two big name guys, two big name cruiserweights in the championship match, no one's really going to care about it, because no one really cares about 205 Live at the moment either. No one's really watched it, I don't think, since they started doing it. But that's just my opinion. I could really care less about it. I did watch the Cruiserweight Championship just to see, if the Cruiserweight division this time around for the WWE would be different than what it was back in the early 2000s after they bought out WCW. But it was a real shitty version of WCW's Cruiserweight division when WCW was running, but you would have thought by now that they would have changed some things up, but obviously not. But that was a huge announcement as the Rockstar Spud announced a 16-man single elimination tournament that will culminate at WrestleMania, as I said. So we'll have to see who the next cruiserweight champion will be. Got a little over 2.5 months, a little over 2 months before WrestleMania. Today is January 31st, also Rusev Day, and WrestleMania is on April 8th in New Orleans. So a little over 2 months, about 2.5 months. As I said, NXT Takeover was Saturday. The Royal Rumble was Sunday, Raw was Monday night, as it always is, and SmackDown was on Tuesday. All these events were down in Philly at the Wells Fargo Center. Crowds for these events were spectacular, and they should be getting even better as we are now officially on the road to WrestleMania. As I said, WrestleMania is right around the corner, April 8th in New Orleans, Louisiana at the Superdome. Still have 2 pay-per-views though before then. February 25th, you got the Elimination Chamber, a Raw exclusive pay-per-view in Las Vegas at the T-Mobile Arena. Will feature 2 Elimination Chamber matches, a number 1 contender match to determine Brock Lesnar's number 1 contender for his Universal Championship. Roman Reigns will probably win that match. He's not even in the match yet, but he'll be in the match more than likely and will probably win. And then the first ever Women's Elimination Chamber match to determine the Raw Women's Champion, as Alexa Bliss will defend her title against 5 unnamed opponents at this time. It seems like WWE is forcing us and shoving all this women's wrestling down our throats it just seems like they're doing too much. If you'd space it out a little bit, I think, people would be all right with that. But I think you're doing too much, and sooner or later, no one's really going to care. Hell, I don't even care, as it is now. So, it is what it is, though. But Elimination Chamber, February 25th, and then 2 weeks later, March 11th, also my birthday, WWE Fastlane will culminate in enemy territory in Columbus, Ohio, as it will be a SmackDown Live exclusive pay-per-view, and more than likely, right now, unless they, change some things up, change the plans, we will have a WWE Championship match between the champion AJ Styles and whoever the number one contender will be after next week's number one contendership match between two best friends, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Cammy, as AJ Styles likes to call them. But today, I'm here to give you my thoughts and opinions on what happened during Royal Rumble weekend and what I think, how I think things will play out from now until WrestleMania. But before I do, be sure to follow and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Links are down in the description below. NXT Takeover Philadelphia was on Saturday, highlighted by two great matches. The first one I want to go over real quick is the Extreme Rules match between Tommy End, Aleister Black, and Adam Cole. Black defeated Cole, and then the NXT Championship match between Andrade Cien Almas and Johnny Gargano. Almas retained, and then Tommaso Ciampa returned after the match got over. Hit Gargano with a crutch. Looks like he's still limping a bit there with his right leg. Had a brace on his right leg. So who knows, when he's going to be able to wrestle. But it looks like they're going down that road. And as I thought, Gargano would get screwed by Ciampa. I mean, he didn't really get screwed by him. He lost to Almas. 1, 2, 3. A little over 30-minute match. Both of these matches right now are match of the year candidates. In my opinion, they are. We still got 11 more months, as it's only end of January. But as I thought, Ciampa would return. Do something to Gargano. Now it looks like they're moving down that road, and those two former tag team partners will be going at it against each other. Also at TakeOver, the Velveteen Dream defeated Cassius Ohno. The Undisputed Era retained their NXT championships against the Authors of Pain, and then Ember Moon defeated Shayna Baszler to retain her NXT Women's Championship. And then the Royal Rumble was on Sunday the next night, followed up by an extraordinary Royal Rumble. One of the better ones, we've seen in recent years, I think. And that was highlighted by two Royal Rumble matches, the men's and women's, and both of my picks last week, Shinsuke Nakamura for the men's and Asuka for the women's, both won. So I was happy about that. And that's a huge sign that the WWE has a lot of respect and a lot of trust in these two international superstars and in these two Japanese superstars, as both of these superstars, Nakamura and Asuka, haven't even been in the WWE for a little over more than 2 years now. So, and now they're going to be main eventing WrestleMania. So that's a huge sign of respect and trust, in my opinion. The WWE has for both Shinsuke Nakamura and Asuka. And then also at the Royal Rumble, the three luchadors, as I'll call them today, defeated TJP, TJ Perkins, Jack Gallagher, and Drew Gulak. The Revival got payback against Gallows and Anderson, and then Bobby Roode defeated Mojo Rawley in the United States Open Challenge match that they announced after I recorded last week. All three of those matches were on the pre-show, and then AJ Styles and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn kicked off the Royal Rumble, the main card, as Styles defeated Owens and Zayn in the 2-on-1 handicap match to retain the WWE Championship, and then the Usos defeated Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin in that 2 of 3 falls match to retain the SmackDown Live Tag Team titles. And then the Bar regained the Raw Tag Team titles against Seth Rollins and Jason Jordan. And then Brock Lesnar retained his Universal Championship against Braun Strowman and Kane. Kane took the pin, as I thought would happen. But then the big news, we did have some surprise appearances in in both the men's and women's. A little more so in the women's. Dolph Ziggler did come back in the Rumble, got eliminated, but as they are trying to rejuvenate his career, we'll have to see what path they choose for him. More than likely they'll put him back in the United States Championship picture, but we'll see. Only time will tell. But the big news, leaving the Rumble, ending with the Rumble, you go into Monday morning, and then people are still talking about it today, and they'll be buzzing about it from now until WrestleMania, was the debut of Rowdy Ronda Rousey, the former MMA fighter, former UFC bantamweight champion. She came out after the Women's Royal Rumble match, after Asuka won the Rumble match, the Women's Royal Rumble match, and was in the ring with the 2 champs, Charlotte from SmackDown Live and Alexa Bliss from Monday Night Raw, and then Stephanie McMahon was on the headset calling the Women's Royal Rumble match, so she was also out there as well. Rousey came out, really didn't do anything other than point at the WrestleMania sign. She tried to shake Asuka's hand. Asuka slapped it, and then she did shake Stephanie's hand. But the big question now, leading into today's main event, is who is Rousey going to face at WrestleMania? Because reportedly she has agreed to a deal with the WWE that will keep her with the WWE for the next couple years. Right now, I can see Rousey going up against Stephanie McMahon. The seeds were planted at WrestleMania 31 a couple years ago. You can also see Rousey teaming up with, say, The Rock, who was also at WrestleMania 31 with her, as the seeds were planted, back then, as I said. And I could see them going up against Triple H and Stephanie, husband and wife, son-in-law to Vince McMahon and daughter of Vince McMahon. But we'll have to see. If The Rock can't go, obviously he's filming some movies. Maybe put Braun Strowman in this match. Seeds were planted for him and Triple H to go at it. I think back at Survivor Series, and another name I think he could put in this match because he's just floating around. Would be either The Miz or Finn Balor, but then potentially you could put those 2 guys against each other too for the Intercontinental Championship. So I'll get to that here towards the end. But some other matches I think that could happen at WrestleMania on April the 8th. Obviously, AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura. Nakamura won the Men's Royal Rumble once AJ Styles, now at WrestleMania. I believe it was Wrestle Kingdom 9 over in Japan a couple years ago that these guys faced off. And then they both came to WWE at the same time. Styles debuted a little bit before Nakamura. Styles debuted at the Rumble 2 years ago, and then Nakamura debuted at NXT Takeover Dallas the night before WrestleMania 32. But I don't think WWE is going to be changing these plans at the moment. I think we will get Styles and Nakamura at WrestleMania 34, and the fans will get what they want for the first time in a while. The Universal Championship then over on Raw. Brock Lesnar is the champ. He's not going to be wrestling on TV. He'll do some live events. He will not be wrestling on TV from now until WrestleMania. He'll wrestle at WrestleMania, though, more than likely against the winner of the, he will face, I'll say this, he will face the number 1 contender, the winner of the Elimination Chamber match, as the Elimination Chamber match, the men's Elimination Chamber match at Elimination Chamber is for the number 1 contendership. Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, as said at the beginning, will more than likely win that. So I think we'll get Brock Lesnar against Reigns, and then they'll have Reigns go over against Lesnar, and then Lesnar will, maybe hang it up, maybe go back to UFC. More than likely, right now, though, there's speculation they'll put him up against Bobby Lashley, a returning Bobby Lashley. Boo fucking who? It's Bobby Lashley. He sucks. If you want to bring Bobby Lashley back, you might as well bring Umaga back. from the dead. You might as well bring President Donald Trump, Don, out of the Oval Office and have him be in a hair versus hair match again against old Vinnie Mac, Vince McMahon. But that's just my opinion. But if Reigns gets suspended, there's speculation out there for that as well. Reports that he's been involved in this PED scandal, I guess you could call it. So if they suspend Reigns, maybe you got to push Braun. I've been saying that. Put Braun Strowman up against Brock Lesnar. We'll have to see though. But if they really want to steal the show, maybe you have a triple threat for the Universal Championship, and then you might save one of the three for the future and have him not take the pin. They'd probably have that happen to Lesnar. I think they would hurt Strowman by doing that, but they could still do that. But maybe you have a triple threat between the three of them at WrestleMania for the title. But more than likely, it's going to be Brock Lesnar against Roman Reigns. And then, what do you do with Braun then? Maybe you put him against Cena. Maybe you put him in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal if you have one of those. Maybe you have him win that. But really, I think if Reigns does get suspended, you put Braun up against Brock and have Braun defeat Brock. Plain and simple. There's nothing else to it. Back to SmackDown right now. Shane McMahon, he'll be wrestling at WrestleMania. Two people who I previously thought would wrestle at WrestleMania, Daniel Bryan and Kurt Angle. I don't think right now they will at this point, at this time of this recording. As today, as I said, today's January 31st, also Rusev Day, but I could see Shane McMahon going up against Cammy, as AJ Styles likes to call him, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, with Daniel Bryan as a special guest referee. So we'll have to see how that plays out. Could also get Kevin Owens against Sami Zayn in a singles match. This will happen next week on SmackDown Live to determine the number one contender for AJ Styles' WWE Championship at Fastlane, the last pay-per-view before WrestleMania. So we'll have to see what happens there. I don't want to see that, but we'll have to see. Right now, I highly doubt that will happen. The United States Championship, Bobby Roode's current champ. He will be facing Rusev next week on SmackDown Live. You'll want to tune in to SmackDown Live next week. We'll have a number one contender match and a United States Championship match. Bobby Roode's going up against Rusev after Rusev became the number one contender, new number one contender last night on SmackDown Live. But at WrestleMania, I could see either a fatal 4-way or a fatal 5-way for the United States Championship. At this point in time, Bobby Roode against Rusev, against Dolph Ziggler, against Baron Corbin, who never got a rematch. Dolph Ziggler got rid of the title, stepped away for a little bit, came back in the Rumble. So more than likely they'll put him back in this picture, but we'll have to see. Only time will tell. Fatal 4-way: Roode, Rusev, Ziggler, Corbin. Maybe have a fatal 5-way, add Jinder Mahal to that, but we'll see. What's going to happen with John Cena? Who knows? Maybe if the Undertaker wants another match at WrestleMania, you put him against Taker. Finally pass the torch to the right guy to lead into the future. I know Cena's not around as much as what he was before. No offense to Roman Reigns or anything, but Cena's always been the face of the company. And I understand they're trying to have Reigns be the face of the company, but we'll have to see what happens. If they don't go Cena Taker, as I said, maybe you do Cena Strowman, maybe Cena Samoa Joe if Joe is healthy to come back. I think it'd probably be best to wait until after WrestleMania to bring him back, because what are you going to do for him? He's not really going to have a match on unless you have him be in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. It'd be the 5th Memorial Battle Royal for Andre the Giant. Maybe have him win that. Who knows? But more than likely, we could be getting, if we don't get Cena Taker or Cena Samoa Joe, I think we could be getting John Cena versus Elias. So who wants to walk with Elias? A lot of people have recently. He's, other than Strowman, I think one of the most over guys in the company at the moment. But, we'll have to see. And, having a match at WrestleMania against John Cena, that's a career highlight right there for a guy who's, going to be in the business for the next 10, 15, 20 years. Singles match, I think that could happen. Seth Rollins, Jason Jordan, I said it last week. I've been saying it for a couple months. Originally, it was probably supposed to be Rollins against Ambrose, but then Ambrose got hurt out for the next 9 months. But they replace Ambrose with Jason Jordan, Kurt Angle's alleged son. But now, since they don't have the tag titles after they lost them at the Royal Rumble, as I thought would happen, I think you put those two against each other and have a match at WrestleMania. And then the Cruiserweight Championship match, whoever's going to be facing each other, whoever is in the finals of that tournament, they'll have the Cruiserweight Championship match. They have already announced that. So right now we'll have 2 matches. Well, 3, count Asuka, going up against a women's champion, whether it be from Raw or SmackDown, but then you'll have Styles, Nakamura, and then, as they announced last night on 205 Live, a Cruiserweight Championship match that will culminate at WrestleMania from the Cruiserweight Championship tournament. Raw and SmackDown Live, tag titles, maybe the Bar against the Revival, maybe throw Gallows and Anderson into that. SmackDown, the Usos, current champs, they cut a great promo last night, I thought, against the Bludgeon Brothers and, potentially the New Day. The New Day, one of the hottest tag teams still in the company. What are you going to do with them? You might as well throw them into this tag title match, just because I don't think you'd want them hosting WrestleMania 2 years in a row. And then another singles match I think that could happen. Woken Matt Hardy, formerly Broken, now he's Woken, against Bray Wyatt. They wrestled Raw 25 at the Manhattan Center. Surprised by that, but I'm surprised, Bray won 1, 2, 3, but, he did. Maybe they'll have a best of 7 series between these guys, and then maybe they'll, form a tag team after that. But then, you can't forget about Jeff Hardy. He'll be coming back sooner or later. He'll more than likely team up with his brother Matt and be brother Nero, and they'll put them as a tag team again, and then have them win the Raw or SmackDown tag team titles. Who knows? We could be having a superstar shakeup or a draft as well. Probably right after WrestleMania. I don't think they'd do it right before, any time before WrestleMania. But who knows? They could shock us all and do that. I doubt, but I think the earliest we could see that would be about the week after WrestleMania, as that's where it was last year, when it was last year. Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax, best friends. I think they could go at it for the Raw Women's Championship, because I think Charlotte is going to get Asuka, and then Rousey is going to go up against Stephanie, and then maybe in a mixed match, challenge match. They really want to promote that. And then there's all these other women as well. Maybe have a first ever Andre the Giant Women's Battle Royal. As I said, they're trying to make us watch all this women's wrestling. I think they're doing too much at the moment, but maybe they do that. Maybe they do a tag match between all the other women, like a 10-woman tag, and then 2 superstars I talked about a little bit ago. I said I'd get to it here at the end. Sort of just floating around right now. The Miz and Finn Balor. What are you going to do with them? I think it'd be best put them against each other. Have it be for the Intercontinental Championship, but you can't forget about the Balor Club though either, Gallows and Anderson. But we can't forget about the Miztourage either as well. You got Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel and Miztourage, Carl Anderson, Machine Gun Carl Anderson, and Luke Gallows in the Balor Club. Maybe have a Teddy Long special, a 6-man tag match, and have that happen at WrestleMania, but then between Finn Balor and The Miz, have that be in that 6-man Teddy Long special match. Have it be for the Intercontinental Championship, and then have Finn Balor defeat The Miz, or have Miz retain. Probably have Miz, excuse me, have Miz drop the title, and then the next night on Raw, have him win it back, but then have Chris Jericho return, because then by then The Miz would have tied Jericho's record of 9 Intercontinental Championship. What's the word I'm going to use? 9 Intercontinental Championship reigns. You know, I could see all that happening, and then last but not least, you know, we could have another Andre the Giant Battle Royal. If Big Cass is healthy to come back after a torn ACL back right after SummerSlam, maybe have him come back and win that, get him rejuvenated, you know, going, you know, towards the future. Maybe if Samoa Joe's healthy as well, maybe have him win that. As I said, Randy Orton's floating around as well. Wasn't on SmackDown last night. Who knows if he's going to even be around for WrestleMania season? You know, it's hard to tell. He might be filming a movie, you know, maybe have him win that, because there's not really anything else for him to do either. Pete Dunne, the current United Kingdom champion, you know, maybe have him win that. Alexa Bliss as well. Or not Alexa Bliss, Aleister Black. I don't know why I said Alexa Bliss. Looking at my notes, glanced up, I had Alexa Bliss versus Nia Jax. That's my bad, I apologize. No offense to Aleister Black, you're not Alexa Bliss. But maybe have Aleister Black come up from NXT, have him win the, I can't believe I did that. Have Aleister Black come up from NXT, win the Battle Royal, even if they have it, and then, you know, have him be on, I think he'd be better on SmackDown. Maybe Drew McIntyre coming back from injury as well, have him win it. Lars Sullivan as well from NXT, you know, could potentially win the Royal Rumble. Not the Royal Rumble, the Battle Royal. Royal Rumble was this past weekend at NXT Takeover on Saturday. The Rumble on Sunday and Monday night. Raw on Monday, and then SmackDown Live last night on Tuesday. Thanks for watching. It's greatly appreciated. Be sure to like, comment, and share. Be sure to follow and subscribe as well if you haven't done so already. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, be sure to email across the goal line 2016@gmail.com. Links for everything, including my social media links, are down in the description below. You can even direct message at ATGL16, at ColehanLoop96, or at ElGoddessart96 on social media. Again, as I said, links are in the description below. Thanks for watching. I'll see everybody later.